Adventist University of the Philippines, the mother and flagship of all Adventist educational institutions in the Philippines. Located in the beautiful and picturesque campus on the rolling hills of Puting Kahoy, Silang Cavite. For many of us, it was dear PUC, Philippine Union College, in the old Bayesa campus, which now only exists in our memories. For generations as students and alumni, we have sung On Ever Onward, Dear PUC. And now AUP, pledging to be always true and faithful, and honoring her by our deeds and praises. But who was the man behind the music and words to this inspiring song?
He was Honesto, born to Macario and Maria Pascual. He grew up in the first PUC compound in Pasay City, and then in the Bayesa campus. From the time Honesto was an elementary student, he participated in adult musical events, showing early his love and talent in music. Having inherited his father's gift for composition, he delighted his teachers and fellow students with his own compositions. In May 1937, Honesto married Josefina Consol, a lovely girl from Batangas. To her he wrote and dedicated the song Mi Azucena, My Pure White Lily. This lovely couple was blessed with 3 attractive boys, Delio, Jomi, and Honesto Jr.
This is the class of 1937, and if you will notice, Dr. Imperio, who is deceased, and Kirante, who is also deceased.
And among the graduates was Honesto, who was awarded the degree Bachelor of Science in Education. The college voice editor described him as full of humor, enthusiastic, a lover of music, and a composer.
My dad composed quite a few pieces, and from what I understand, every time he had a new girlfriend, he composed a piece for and dedicated it to her. And I don't know how many there were. I know I have about 2 or 3 here, but I'm sure that he had some others. Like this one song here, he titled it Just You. I don't know who that Just You is. Here's another piece that my dad composed, but this time he collaborated with Mr. Meliton Zamora. It's Nestor's father. And here's another piece that he composed, I'm Lonely. And this time he wrote both the music and the lyrics. And then this one here is another one of those condiments, which was dedicated to a lady named Lady. I think she's still alive. And there's another one, Longing for You, lyric. And my dad must have been a very romantic person.
Few of the more than 40 songs that he wrote have survived, but in the hearts of thousands, Shine On, Dear PUC, has been forever written.
He also has a hobby which I wish that I could have inherited, and that is he was very good in cabinet making. In fact, he built organs, you know, those pump organs. He built some of them, and unfortunately, we don't have anything. I have very, very good memories of my dad. I know that he used to take me for bike rides, go to the PUC campus. It was during the war. I was 3 years old when we left Cebu. I believe he was treasurer of the East Visayas. You know, he was the only son, actually the only child, and so when the war broke out, he wanted to go back and be with my grandparents.
In spite of dangerous travel conditions with his wife and 2 boys, they miraculously made it from Cebu to Manila with the Benito Mari family via sailboat. With the removal of American missionaries from PUC who were forcibly placed in the internment camp in Los Baños, the leadership was placed on Filipinos. Ruben Manalasay was appointed president and Honesto treasurer and business manager. In spite of the war, all went well till 1944, when the college board voted to sell pieces of school machinery to raise funds for the college. Among those present in the auction were Japanese and Filipino guerrilla fighters who were not recognized. Honesto was caught in the middle of a bitter confusion among rival bidders, for a 17 horsepower generator, and he was reported to the feared Kempetai, the Japanese military police.
You know, I was 6 years old when we lost my father. I was the one that called him from the office. I know it was October 12 when he was taken from us around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And a group of actually there was a jeepload of Japanese that came to our house. And my mom asked me to call him because they said, oh, we just want to ask him a few questions. Well, they wanted to take him for interrogation, and you know, it's history. We never saw him again. About 5 years ago, I took my wife to the Philippines for the first time, and I took her to the place where he was supposed to have been tortured, you know, Fort Santiago. Not a favorite place of mine to visit, but I wanted to show her the place. In 1934, the English Department of Philippine Union College in Manila put on a contest in melody composition, and the contestants selected their favorite poems and used them as the lyric for their musical composition. A young man by the name of H.C. Pascual, who was working on his English major, submitted a melody to accompany John Greenleaf Whittier's The Eternal Goodness, and this was selected as the best. And another thing about this piece is when my father was taken by the Japanese, my mother went all over Manila, you know, to look for us. And so my mom followed leads where he might be. She would sing this song, hoping that if he was there, he could hear her sing, you know, and recognize that she was over there. But it didn't work out that way. We lost my dad, never saw him again.
An interview with Dr. Malaysar revealed that before his arrest, Japanese asked Honesto to give them the drums of diesel the college used to power the electrical generator. He told him he did not have the authority to comply with the request because the decision belonged to the school board. This said, was one of the reasons for his arrest. After the war, a Japanese family friend reported that Honesto was starved and tortured daily in Fort Santiago, and in some instances, he was revived by a doctor, only to be tortured again. But through it all, his lips remained sealed. Not one word betrayed the trust that was his. We, sons and daughters of our great AUP, all stand proud to give tribute to this illustrious gentleman who gave us our great and inspiring song, but most of all, for giving his life for our dear alma mater, and, most importantly, our native land. Mr. Honesto C. Pascual, you are in the truest sense a hero.